Hello, how are you today? Welcome to It's All About Love. This is Anna, for those who don't know me yet. I hope you are enjoying today, this lovely day, and wherever you are around the world. So, today we are going to be talking about Mother Theresa, continue talking about her. This is the 16th episode, and I hope you are going to take something from it today. I hope you are going to enjoy it, because Mother Theresa is really an example for so many people. So, if some of you are interested in Mother Theresa, I would advise you to go back and watch the previous episodes of Mother Theresa. You'll understand a little bit better her life from her birth till her adulthood. So, in the last episode, we finished in 1982. By 1982, what she did up until 1982. So in 1983, while in Italy, Mother Theresa fell out of the bed and hurt her foot. And she was admitted to the hospital, and after 2 days, against the doctor's consent, she returned to the convent. And within a few days, her foot began to cause her acute pain. She did not want to go back to the hospital, and because she insisted that work was waiting for her. She was always on the go to help the other, to help the poor of the poor. She loved people. She had to be active all the time. And so, but the Pope told her, because he knew what she was doing, she couldn't stop because of her love for the people. And so, but Pope John Paul II, because she will respect Pope John Paul II, told her and said in those words, "The whole world needs you. The whole world needs you. So please enter the hospital and rest." Well, because it was John Paul II, she was obedient, she obeyed him, and she agreed. At the hospital, the doctors informed her that if she had not fallen, she would almost certainly have suffered a heart attack. Well, her health was not quite there. She was not quite well in terms of health, physical health. And so she had to rest in the hospital. And still in pain, she did not take her prescribed painkillers. She told the doctors that she wanted to offer a suffering to God. She was continuously saying if she was suffering, she wanted to offer a suffering to God all the time. But you know, for those who know a little bit of Mother Theresa, and for those who watch the previous programs, I mentioned that Mother Theresa, even if she was in pain, she wouldn't share with others her suffering. She was always with a smile in her face. Because she put always work above all, and so it was a style of life. But she didn't take the painkillers in pain. She didn't. She wanted to suffer, to give her suffering to God. A stay in the hospital became her first ever rest since she heard the call within a call in 1946. She really was a hard worker, and so it was her first rest in 1983 of that year. It was her first rest since 1946. People around the world, including co-workers and their sisters, were praying for Mother Theresa, and letters and buckets of flowers were coming, and were wishing her wishing all the best for her health, and all wishes were mounting, and visitors were all also arriving in a daily basis to visit Mother Theresa in the hospital in Rome, including the King and the Queen of Belgium. And despite her physical frailty, because she really was very weak in terms of physical health, her work was expanding worldwide. By the end of 1983, there were around 130 applications to open new houses. Wow, that's incredible. Always. Well, she saw so much demand. She saw so many people in need. She couldn't stop. She had to do something in spite of health, wicked health. But in 1984, Mother Teresa visited Poland. As you know, Mother Teresa was the majority of time, probably a quarter of the time in a year, she was always traveling around the world to visit countries, to create new homes to help the poor, the people in need, the special needs people, refugees, so many kind of people. And so she visited in 1984, visited Poland, and afterwards she returned to Rome, to Italy. Here she was obliged to spend a few more days in the hospital because of her wicked heart, because she really was struggling with her heart, but she didn't want to think about it. A poor were first, a people in need were first, above all. The doctors told her to avoid climbing stairs unless necessary. And shortly afterwards, she continued traveling worldwide to inaugurate new foundations, new homes for those people in need that so much needed her. So that was incredible. The Missionaries of Charity Fathers, represented by Father Langford, began officially in October of that year. You know that Father Langford was a friend of Mother Teresa. And when Mother Teresa left this planet, Earth, he wrote a book about her, a beautiful book. And so the priestly service took Jesus first to the poor and the suffering and those in need, who hunger for God, in hospitals, in prisons, in soup kitchens and shelters, slums, streets, so many things. Well, for those who don't know what were soup kitchens, where the people were, in many countries still see lots of soup kitchens created by missionaries of charity. Nowadays we have a lot in many cities around the world. These soup kitchens they are there to cook for or to give food to the people in need, people especially from the streets, or maybe they don't have much money to live, and they go there and take and eat food that the missionaries of charity and volunteers cook. And so in that way they say they don't need to spend money, and at least they have their tummy full. And so they are very useful to help people around the world, soup kitchens. So Mother Teresa also sent a letter to the co-workers throughout the world, asking the doctors to form a special volunteer medical branch with the Association for the Health Professionals, such as nurses and pharmacists. Because, you know, she was helping so many people with weak health, people dying in the streets, people suffering because of many diseases and ailments. And that's why the people that she needed the most, one of the people that she needed the most were the doctors and nurses, because they knew what she was doing to help those people who were dying because of physical diseases. But in her writing, she highlighted, when she wrote to these doctors, wanting doctors and nurses, an association, she highlighted the doctors could be from any faith, but they had to share the spirit of Mother Teresa. Always, any foundation had to follow the spirit of Mother Teresa, because if it had to be like that. The spirit of Mother Teresa had so many associations, and everyone had to follow this. Because if someone came and said, look, I don't want you to follow Mother Teresa's spirit, you want to follow us, or me, or he, or then everything was going to be lots of darkness and confusion. And that's why if they were following the spirit of Mother Teresa from the beginning, everything was going to be clear and clean, and no stain, and so in order to avoid problems. And of course, everyone knew that the spirit of Mother Teresa was the greatest, and everyone had to follow. Well, this meant that they had to believe that medicine was a blessing given by God. Doctors and pharmacists and the professionals of health had to believe that medicine was a blessing given by God to people, and the sick were to be respected before God and man. So doctors and the rest of the health professionals had to have that in mind, that sick people had to be respected above all. And the medicine was a gift from God for them. So she especially, Mother Teresa especially, requested them not to pursue material goods, but to give some of their time to help to improve the life quality of the poor. Within 4 years, the link of medical workers had spread worldwide. Incredible. So always the poor above all. The doctors should find always some time to help the poor, mainly in their health. Wonderful. So on the 31st of October 1984, Mr. Indira Gandhi, India's Prime Minister and Mother Teresa, long friend, was assassinated by Sikhs, her own bodyguards. It was a terrible time for the country, for the world, for Mother Teresa. And so this resulted in violence exploding against Sikhs in India. People were revolted against Sikhs because these were the ones who killed Indira Gandhi. And so they were being persecuted and became refugees, these people, Sikhs. And in order to diminish their suffering, Mother Teresa sent sisters to work with them. Incredible, see? Always giving love to everyone, always. Mother Teresa didn't stop. Above all, giving love to the world, to those, mainly those who were suffering, because the Sikhs were suffering. 2 bodyguards killed Indira Gandhi. Well, they shouldn't do that. Would be the last thing that anyone could do. Killing another human being is terrible. But the rest of the sick people, well, it was not their fault, but because of that act, all sick people were suffering in India. They were persecuted, children, women, men, they were all persecuted. They were suffering terribly. And so, because Mother Teresa knew that, she sent her sisters to give them love, to walk with them. And in that way, slowly, people began by changing their minds, because they began by realizing that it was not their fault. Because of those 2, it was not their fault. They were sure that they didn't want to see this Indira Gandhi killed. But, well, always Mother Teresa was giving love to pacify everything. And so by the end of that year, in 1984, Mother Teresa was becoming extremely concerned with the famine in Africa, because for those who were in 1984, lived in that era, 80s, you know that these countries, many countries in Africa, were suffering a terrible famine. And the TV news were always talking about that. And Mother Teresa was extremely worried, concerned by that. And so on Christmas Day, despite her high fever temperatures, Mother Teresa left to Ethiopia. Ethiopia was a country, many people were dying because they didn't have any food to eat. Famine was terrible there in that country. And on arrival, Mother Teresa visited 5 missionaries of charity houses and organized famine relief centers, all to help the people in Ethiopia. They were suffering so much. And so I hope you enjoy this program. I hope you enjoy a little bit of the story of Mother Teresa, what she did for everyone, those in need. And you took something from this today. So for now, I let you go, and I hope you enjoy and think about Mother Teresa as a great example to follow. because you all love to follow good examples. And for now I'll say God bless you and thank you for watching.